Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever found yourself trapped in the endless cycle of overthinking, running scenarios in your head, worrying about things beyond your control, exhausting yourself with problems that may never even happen? It's a modern plague, this tendency to overanalyze, to ruminate, to let the weight of uncertainty crush our ability to act. But here's the truth. The more you focus on what you can't control, the weaker you become. The more you direct your energy toward what you can control, the stronger, the more competent, and the more resilient you become. The world is chaotic, full of uncertainties, but you are not powerless. Your mind, your choices, your discipline, these are within your control. And that is where your transformation begins. Today, we're going to dismantle the trap of overthinking and replace it with something far more effective: clarity, action, and discipline. Because if you want to move forward in life, if you want to build something meaningful, you need to stop wasting your energy on what you can't change and start mastering what you can. Control your focus, and you control your life. The human mind is an incredible tool, capable of solving complex problems, envisioning the future, and reflecting on the past. But when left unchecked, it can also become a prison, trapping you in cycles of overanalysis, doubt, and anxiety. Many people spend their days consumed by thoughts that do nothing to move them forward. They worry about what others think, stress over situations they have no power to change, and exhaust themselves mentally before they even take action. This is a fundamental misalignment of focus. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have. What you focus on grows, and what you neglect withers away. If you focus on problems outside your control, things like how someone perceives you, global events beyond your influence, or past mistakes that cannot be undone, you give away your power. You weaken your capacity for effective action. Instead of building something meaningful, you become stuck in a mental fog, spinning your wheels, but going nowhere. The mind is excellent at justifying inaction when it is overwhelmed. It tells you that you need more time, more information, more certainty. But this is an illusion. More thinking does not always lead to better results. Sometimes it only leads to paralysis. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One fixates on every possible outcome, every potential failure, every uncontrollable variable. The other identifies the immediate steps they can take and directs their energy toward those. The first person becomes stuck in fear. The second moves forward, adapts, and makes progress. The difference isn't intelligence or ability, it's focus. Your focus determines whether you spiral into inaction or rise above the noise and take charge of your reality. One of the most effective ways to control your focus is to become deeply aware of what actually deserves your attention. Most people allow their focus to be dictated by external forces, social media, negative news, other people's opinions. But this leads to scattered thinking, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of helplessness. You need to train yourself to become intentional with your focus. What matters right now? What matters right now? What actions will actually create a meaningful impact in your life? These are the questions you should be asking. A powerful tool to refine your focus is the concept of the sphere of control. There are things you have direct power over: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Then there are things you can influence but not fully control: relationships, career opportunities, health. And beyond that, there are things completely outside your control: other people's choices, world events, the past. The key is to shift your energy toward the first two spheres and let go of the last. Most suffering comes from obsessing over what we cannot change while neglecting what we can. The more you discipline your focus to stay within your sphere of control, the more effective and resilient you become. Another crucial aspect of focus is learning to detach from distractions. Modern life is designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. Notifications, entertainment, endless information. These things fragment your mind and make it difficult to concentrate on what truly matters. If you don't control your focus, something else will. This is why so many people feel drained at the end of the day without accomplishing anything meaningful. They have allowed their attention to be hijacked by things that do not serve their growth. You must take back control. Limit your exposure to unnecessary noise. Prioritize deep work over shallow distractions. Create an environment that supports your ability to concentrate. The mind naturally seeks stimulation, but not all stimulation is valuable. Overthinking often arises because the brain is accustomed to constant input and doesn't know how to be still. When faced with uncertainty, instead of taking action, many people default to thinking more, hoping to arrive at the perfect answer. But clarity comes from movement, not from endless mental loops. Instead of wasting energy on hypothetical fears, redirect it toward actions that create real change. Train your mind to ask a different question. What can I do right now that actually makes a difference? The more you practice this shift, the more automatic it becomes. Emotional control is another major benefit of mastering your focus. Many people allow external events to dictate their mood. They get upset over things they can't change, become discouraged by setbacks, or dwell on perceived injustices. But the reality is that your emotions follow your focus. If you constantly look for negativity, you will find it. If you focus on solutions, progress, and things within your control, your mindset will shift accordingly. By choosing where to direct your attention, you are also choosing your emotional state. Your ability to focus is one of the most powerful assets you have. It determines the quality of your work, the strength of your relationships, and the trajectory of your life. Many people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because their focus is scattered. They spend too much time worrying about the wrong things, doubting themselves, or waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, you will never eliminate uncertainty. You will never have all the answers. What you can do is master your focus and take action despite the unknown. Uncertainty is an unavoidable part of life, yet many people spend their days trying to eliminate it. They believe that if they analyze a situation enough, if they prepare for every possible outcome, they will somehow gain control over the unknown. But this is an illusion. No matter how much you think, plan, or prepare, you will never fully predict the future. You will never eliminate risk. The world is too complex, and life is too unpredictable. The more you try to force certainty, the more you will find yourself trapped in a cycle of overthinking, hesitation, and fear. At its core, the need for certainty is a form of control seeking. The mind craves stability, structure, and predictability, but reality does not always provide those things. This creates tension. Instead of accepting uncertainty, many people resist it. They keep running scenarios in their heads, searching for the perfect answer, hoping to avoid discomfort. But uncertainty is not something to be avoided. It is something to be navigated. The most successful and resilient people are not those who seek absolute certainty, but those who learn to move forward despite not having it. They recognize that waiting for perfect clarity is a trap, and that progress comes from action, not from endless deliberation. The fear of uncertainty is often rooted in the fear of failure. Many people hesitate to make decisions because they are afraid of making the wrong one. They fear embarrassment, disappointment, or regret. But indecision is its own form of failure. Avoiding action does not protect you from consequences. It only delays them. The longer you wait to act, the more opportunities you miss, the more your confidence erodes, and the more you remain stuck in the same place. The truth is, you will never have all the information. You will never be 100% certain, but you don't need to be. You only need enough clarity to take the next step, and then you adjust as you go. There is a fundamental difference between preparation and paralysis. Preparation is useful. It allows you to anticipate challenges, develop strategies, and increase your chances of success. But at some point, preparation turns into avoidance. The line between being thorough and being stuck in analysis paralysis is a thin one. If you spend too much time seeking reassurance, gathering opinions, or trying to guarantee an outcome, you are no longer preparing. You are procrastinating. The only way to truly learn is through action. You can study, plan, and theorize all you want, but until you engage with reality, you are operating on assumptions. Experience is the best teacher, and action is the only way to gain real experience. One of the most liberating realizations is that you do not need certainty to be effective. You do not need to have all the answers before you begin. What you need is the willingness to take risks, make mistakes, and adapt along the way. Many of the most successful people in history did not start with perfect clarity. They started with a direction, took action, encountered obstacles, and adjusted their approach as they learned. They embraced the unknown rather than fearing it. They understood that growth comes from engagement with reality, not from sitting on the sidelines trying to map out every possibility. The more you accept uncertainty, the more resilient you become. When you stop demanding that everything be predictable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. You no longer need to control every detail because you recognize that control is an illusion. Antos. What matters is not eliminating uncertainty, but learning to function within it. This means developing the ability to make decisions with incomplete information, to move forward despite not knowing exactly how things will turn out. It means trusting yourself to handle challenges as they arise rather than waiting until you feel completely ready. The paradox of uncertainty is that the more you resist it, the more powerless you feel. When you try to control what cannot be controlled, you set yourself up for frustration and disappointment. But when you lean into uncertainty, when you embrace it as a natural part of life, you become stronger. You shift your focus from fear to action, from hesitation to movement. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, you learn to work with it. You stop letting uncertainty be an excuse for inaction and start using it as an opportunity for growth. Uncertainty does not mean chaos. It does not mean recklessness. It simply means that you will never have all the answers in advance. And that is okay. You do not need to predict every step of the journey before you begin. You only need to be willing to take the first step, adjust as you go, and trust in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Your thoughts shape your reality. The way you interpret events, the way you react to challenges, and the way you view yourself are all dictated by the patterns of thinking you have developed over time. But most people are not aware of how undisciplined their thoughts are. They let their minds wander aimlessly, dwelling on negativity, imagining worst-case scenarios and reinforcing self-doubt. This lack of mental discipline is one of the biggest obstacles to progress. The mind, when left unchecked, will often default to fear, worry, and hesitation. But just as you can train your body through exercise, you can train your mind to become sharper, more resilient, and more focused on solutions. Many people assume that their thoughts are a reflection of reality. They believe that if they feel overwhelmed, hopeless, or incapable, then those feelings must be justified. But thoughts are not always accurate. They are often influenced by fear, past experiences, and subconscious biases. The problem is that most people do not question their thoughts. They simply accept them as truth. If a thought tells them they are not good enough, they believe it. If a thought tells them that failure is inevitable, they assume it is correct. But this is a mistake. Thoughts are not facts. They are mental habits, and like any habit, they can be changed. One of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to step back and observe your own thinking. Instead of automatically believing every thought that enters your mind, you need to evaluate it. Is this thought useful? Is it based on evidence? Does it help me move forward? Does it keep me stuck? If a thought does not serve you, you do not need to accept it. You can challenge it, reframe it, and replace it with a thought that is more aligned with your goals. This is the foundation of mental discipline, learning to take control of your thinking instead of letting your thinking control you. Negative thought loops are one of the biggest reasons people remain stuck. They get caught in cycles of self-doubt, rumination, and fear. They replay past mistakes, worry about things outside their control, and imagine scenarios that may never happen. This mental repetition strengthens those negative pathways in the brain, making it even harder to break free. But just as you can reinforce negative patterns, you can also create new, more productive ones. The key is awareness and redirection. When you catch yourself engaging in unproductive thinking, you must consciously shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on problems, shift to solutions. Instead of replaying failures, focus on lessons learned. Instead of assuming the worst, ask yourself what the best possible outcome could be. Over time, this shift becomes automatic, and your mind becomes a tool for progress rather than a source of limitation. Many people believe that their emotions are beyond their control, but emotions are deeply tied to thought patterns. If you constantly feed your mind with doubt, fear, and negativity, your emotional state will reflect that. If you focus on growth, possibility, and resilience, your emotions will follow. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means training your mind to respond to challenges with strength rather than defeat. When something goes wrong, instead of thinking, "This is a disaster," you train yourself to think, "This is an obstacle I can overcome." When you face uncertainty, instead of thinking, "I don't know what to do," you train yourself to think, "I will figure this out step by step, by step by step." This simple shift in perspective can change the way you approach everything in life. Disciplining your thoughts also requires controlling what you expose your mind to. Just as the body is affected by the food you eat, the mind is affected by the information you consume. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, whether through the news, toxic relationships, or destructive self-talk, your mindset will reflect that. You must be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Seek out information that challenges you, inspires you, and pushes you to grow. Surround yourself with people who encourage progress rather than reinforce limitations. Be mindful of the narratives you tell yourself about who you are and what you are capable of. Another crucial aspect of mental discipline is the ability to focus on what you can control rather than what you cannot. Many people waste energy worrying about things outside their influence, other people's opinions, past mistakes, or unpredictable future events, but this is a losing battle. The more you focus on things you cannot change, the more powerless you feel. Instead, train your mind to focus on your own actions, your own responses, and the choices you can make in the present moment. This shift in focus not only reduces stress, but also increases your ability to take meaningful action. The process of disciplining your thoughts is not about suppressing emotions or ignoring reality. It is about developing the ability to think clearly, constructively, and intentionally. It is about recognizing that your thoughts are the foundation of your actions, and your actions determine your results. If you allow your mind to be consumed by fear and doubt, your life will reflect that. If you train your mind to be disciplined, focused, and solution-oriented, your life will transform accordingly. Progress is built on action, not thought alone. Many people have great ideas, dreams, and ambitions, but they remain stuck in the planning phase, waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They tell themselves they need more information, more resources, or more confidence before they take the first step. But the truth is, action creates clarity. You do not become ready by thinking. You become ready by doing. The mind can only take you so far. Real growth happens when you step into the unknown and engage with the world. Small, measurable actions are the key to breaking free from inaction. Many people overwhelm themselves by focusing on the entire journey rather than the next step. They think about everything they need to do, every challenge they might face, and every possible outcome, and this sheer magnitude paralyzes them. But no one accomplishes anything all at once. Every great achievement is the result of consistent, incremental progress. The most effective way to move forward is to break your goals down into small, achievable steps and focus only on the next immediate action. This prevents analysis paralysis and builds momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. When you take even the smallest step forward, you generate energy that propels you toward the next step. Each action reinforces the habit of movement, making it easier to keep going. But when you hesitate, when you wait, you reinforce the habit of inaction, making it harder to begin. This is why taking action, no matter how small, is critical. It shifts your mindset from thinking to doing, from hesitation to execution. The first step does not have to be perfect, it just has to be taken. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that they need motivation to act. They wait until they feel inspired, confident, or energized before they begin. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. And if you rely on it, you will remain inconsistent. The most successful people do not wait for motivation. They build discipline. They act regardless of how they feel, knowing that action itself generates motivation. The simple act of getting started, even when you do not feel like it, creates momentum and builds confidence. Action leads to results. Results reinforce progress, and progress fuels motivation. Fear is one of the primary reasons people hesitate to take action. They fear failure, rejection, embarrassment, or making the wrong choice. But fear thrives in inaction. The longer you avoid something, the more intimidating it becomes. The only way to shrink fear is to face it directly. Taking small, measurable actions allows you to gradually build confidence and prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you develop through repeated action. Every time you push past hesitation and take a step forward, you reinforce the belief that you can handle challenges. Another reason people struggle to take action is perfectionism. They believe that if they cannot do something perfectly, they should not do it at all. But perfectionism is just a sophisticated form of procrastination. It convinces you that more preparation is needed when, in reality, it is just fear in disguise. No action will ever be perfect, and no plan will ever be flawless. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. It is far better to take imperfect action than to remain stuck in endless planning. The faster you start, the faster you learn, and the faster you improve. Taking small, measurable actions also allows you to track progress. Many people give up on their goals because they feel like they are not making any headway. But when you measure your progress, even in the smallest ways, you give yourself tangible proof that you are moving forward. This could be tracking daily habits, setting short-term milestones, or simply acknowledging small wins. Progress is not always dramatic, but even the smallest victories build confidence and reinforce commitment. Consistency is more important than intensity. Many people start with bursts of motivation, going all in for a short period, only to burn out and abandon their efforts. But sustainable progress comes from steady, consistent effort over time. It is better to take small actions consistently than to take massive actions sporadically. This is why habits are so powerful. When you integrate small, measurable actions into your daily routine, they become automatic, requiring less effort and willpower. Over time, these small habits compound into significant results. Execution is what separates those who succeed from those who merely dream. Many people have brilliant ideas, but only a small percentage act on them. The world does not reward ideas alone. It rewards execution. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be is not a lack of knowledge or potential. It is a lack of consistent action. Action. You do not need to know everything before you begin. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to take the next step and then the next. Progress is built this way. One small, measurable action at a time. At a time. Distractions are everywhere. In today's world, there is an endless stream of information, entertainment, and noise pulling your attention in every direction. Social media, notifications, emails, news updates, and countless other sources constantly compete for your focus. The result is a scattered mind, unable to concentrate deeply on what truly matters. The ability to focus has become a rare skill, but it is also one of the most valuable. Without focus, progress becomes slow and meaningful accomplishments become nearly impossible. Boom. If you want to achieve anything significant, you must learn to eliminate distractions and direct your attention toward what truly matters. Most people underestimate how much distractions cost them. They assume that a quick glance at their phone, a few minutes on social media, or a short break to check messages, is harmless. But every time you shift your attention, your brain loses momentum. Research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain deep focus after being interrupted. Now, when you constantly switch between tasks, your productivity suffers and your ability to think clearly weakens. The more fragmented your attention, the harder it becomes to engage in meaningful work. One of the biggest traps people fall into is mistaking busyness for productivity. They fill their days with minor tasks, responding to emails, checking notifications, and jumping from one activity to another, believing they are being productive. But true productivity is not about being busy, it is about being effective. It is about dedicating focused, uninterrupted time to the tasks that truly move the needle. Many people feel exhausted at the end of the day, not because they accomplished something meaningful, but because they allowed distractions to consume their time and energy. To regain control over your focus, you must become intentional about your attention. The first step is recognizing what is stealing your time. Identify the distractions that frequently pull you away from meaningful work. This could be social media, excessive screen time, unimportant meetings, or even your own thoughts wandering aimlessly. Once you become aware of these distractions, you can begin to eliminate or reduce them. This may require turning off notifications, setting specific times for checking emails, or creating an environment that minimizes interruptions. Your environment plays a crucial role in your ability to focus. Focus. If your surroundings are cluttered with distractions, your mind will struggle to concentrate. Designing an environment that supports deep work can significantly enhance your ability to stay focused. This could mean setting up a dedicated workspace, using noise-canceling headphones, or establishing specific time blocks for uninterrupted work. When you remove unnecessary stimuli, your brain can direct more energy toward the task at hand. Another powerful strategy for eliminating distractions is setting clear priorities. Many people struggle to focus because they do not have a clear sense of what is most important. When everything feels equally urgent, it becomes easy to get lost in trivial tasks. By defining your top priorities each day, you create a roadmap for your focus. Instead of reacting to distractions, you proactively direct your attention toward what truly matters. This simple practice can transform the way you work and significantly increase your efficiency. Technology is one of the biggest sources of distraction, but it can also be a powerful tool if used correctly. Instead of letting technology control your time, use it to your advantage. There are apps that can block distracting websites, track your screen time, and help you stay accountable. Being mindful of how you use technology allows you to harness its benefits without falling into its traps. Your ability to focus is also deeply connected to your mental discipline. If your mind is constantly scattered, jumping from one thought to another, focusing on external tasks becomes even more difficult. Training your mind through mindfulness, meditation, or even simple breathing exercises can help you develop greater control over your attention. The more you practice directing your thoughts, the easier it becomes to stay present and engaged in meaningful work. Energy management is another crucial aspect of maintaining focus. Many people struggle to concentrate not because they lack discipline, but because they are mentally and physically drained. Poor sleep, unhealthy eating habits, and lack of movement all contribute to mental fatigue. If your body is exhausted, your mind will struggle to maintain focus. Prioritizing rest, nutrition, and physical activity can have a profound impact on your ability to concentrate for extended periods. Another essential mindset shift is recognizing that focus is a skill that must be developed. Many people assume that they are just naturally bad at focusing, but focus is not an innate ability. It is something that can be strengthened over time. The more you practice eliminating distractions and directing your attention, the better you become at it. Developing focus requires discipline, but the rewards are immense. When you can control your attention, you can control the trajectory of your life. Mastering focus also requires learning to say no. Many distractions come in the form of obligations, requests, and commitments that do not align with your priorities. If you try to please everyone, you will spread yourself too thin, leaving little energy for what truly matters. Learning to protect your time and say no to non-essential commitments is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your focus. Eliminating distractions is not about completely isolating yourself from the world. It is about being intentional with your time and energy. It is about recognizing that every moment spent on distractions is a moment taken away from your goals. The ability to focus deeply on meaningful work is what separates those who achieve great things from those who merely stay busy. The way you respond to setbacks determines the course of your life. Many people allow failure, rejection, and obstacles to break their spirit, convincing themselves that they are not capable or that the path ahead is too difficult. But setbacks are not the end. They are opportunities to grow, to learn, and to adapt. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of failure, but the ability to keep moving forward despite it. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties, to maintain focus in the face of adversity, and to continue pursuing your goals even when things do not go as planned. One of the most important mindsets you can develop is seeing setbacks as feedback rather than personal failures. Too many people internalize failure, believing that it is a reflection of their worth or their potential. But failure is not a statement about who you are. It is simply information. It reveals what does not work, what needs improvement, and where adjustments are necessary. Every setback contains a lesson, and those who succeed are the ones who extract that lesson and use it to grow stronger. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? A single shift in perspective can transform the way you handle challenges. People who lack resilience often fall into the trap of self-pity, blaming external circumstances for their lack of progress. They tell themselves that life is unfair, that they have had more difficulties than others, and that they are powerless to change their situation. But self-pity does not create solutions. It only reinforces a sense of helplessness. The reality is that everyone faces challenges, and many of the most successful people in history have endured incredible hardships. The difference is that they refused to let adversity define them. They did not dwell on what was unfair or beyond their control. Instead, they focused on what they could do next. Building resilience requires strengthening your ability to regulate your emotions. When faced with difficulty, it is natural to feel frustrated, disappointed, or even defeated. But allowing emotions to dictate your actions can lead to poor decisions and a loss of momentum. The key is learning to acknowledge emotions without being controlled by them. Instead of reacting impulsively to setbacks, take a step back, assess the situation rationally, and decide on the best course of action. Developing emotional resilience allows you to maintain clarity and composure even in the face of adversity. Another essential aspect of resilience is adaptability. Many people become so attached to a specific plan or outcome that when things do not go as expected, they become paralyzed. But success is not about rigidly following a single path. It is about adjusting to circumstances, finding new approaches, and continuing forward in different ways when necessary. Life is unpredictable, and the ability to pivot, learn new skills, and change strategies is essential for long-term progress. Those who are adaptable do not see obstacles as roadblocks. They see them as detours leading to different opportunities. Resilience is also strengthened by cultivating a long-term perspective. Many people give up too soon because they expect immediate results. They start something new, face a few setbacks, and conclude that it is not meant for them. But meaningful success takes time. It requires endurance, persistence, and the ability to keep going even when progress seems slow. When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, you realize that setbacks are just temporary moments in a much longer journey. Developing patience and commitment allows you to push through difficulties without becoming discouraged. Another important factor in building resilience is the people you surround yourself with. If you are constantly around negative, pessimistic individuals who reinforce a victim mentality, it will be much harder to stay motivated. But if you surround yourself with people who encourage growth, who remind you of your potential, and who push you to keep going, your resilience will strengthen. Seeking out mentors, supportive friends, and role models who have overcome adversity can provide the inspiration and perspective needed to keep moving forward. Physical resilience and mental resilience are deeply connected. Taking care of your body, getting enough sleep, maintaining a healthy diet, and exercising regularly directly impacts your ability to handle stress and overcome challenges. When your body is fatigued and depleted, your mind struggles to stay strong. Developing daily habits that support physical well-being will give you the energy and mental clarity needed to navigate obstacles effectively. Developing resilience also means taking responsibility for your own growth. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for difficulties. But the moment you take full ownership of your life, you reclaim your power. Instead of waiting for things to change, you become the person who creates change. Resilient people do not waste time wishing for easier circumstances. They focus on becoming stronger individuals. They understand that while they cannot control everything that happens to them, they can always control their response. The ability to persist despite setbacks is what separates those who succeed from those who do not. Every great achievement has been built on a foundation of resilience. The key is not avoiding challenges, but facing them head-on, learning from them, and using them as stepping stones to greater growth. The more you train yourself to push through difficulty, the more unshakable you become.